All right, everybody. We are starting a little bit early. As I said in the chat, the markets do not care about the streaming schedule. So you can see, let's just go ahead and jump into it. I'll remind everybody we're starting a few minutes early just because the market is not waiting for us. You guys can see I have a Nikkei trade going on. And in the YouTube chat, there is the top step risk disclosure. Everything you see and we go over tonight is for educational purposes only. And with that being said, and with the top step risk disclosure, you can see I am in a short Nikkei, short on the Nikkei. This is my live account. You can see my account balance there. And yeah, you can see we have been selling off. Let's take a look at the 5-minute. And I do need to switch this. I want to make sure everything is back to where it normally is to avoid the streaming, talking about points, ticks, dollars. Go ahead through privacy. I want to make sure I go through that. Anyway, here we go. Let's jump into it. Welcome, everybody. You can see I have Coach Jay with me. Let's do a brief audio and visual check.
Check. Quick sound check. Sounds good. And great trade, my friend. Great trade.
Awesome. Yeah, things are moving fast. It looks good. Sounds good. Everything's working good on my end. Like I said, we are a little bit early, and that's okay. I'll just rerun over everything right at the top of the hour. But yeah, sometimes if you're early, everybody deserves a little bit of a treat, right? So I don't mind showing this. And right before we came on stream, that's what we were talking about, right, Coach Jay, where it doesn't matter how much we want the markets to do something while we are on stream. Sometimes this happens. I mean, this has happened like 30 minutes right before the stream. I got in short. You guys won't believe exactly where I got in short. Right there.
Top tick.
I top tick this short. I was in 5 contracts. You can see I did take 1 for a profit, and let's see what the chart executions show. You could see that top tick right there. That's
very nice.
Something else. It doesn't happen very often.
So I got a question for you on this trade, and I want you to talk a little bit about the technicals for why you got in here. But with the order book that we've seen in the Nikkei, how do you normally enter? Is that 5 separate orders, or are you putting an order out there and letting the market come to you?
This particular one was 5 separate orders. You can see over here on the pricing, I got 910, 920, 925, 915, 915. So they were separate orders. Yep. And yeah, let's see where this thing can go. I'm interested and I'll go over my analysis. Remember, I'm going to repeat everybody. So everyone in here that's early, don't mind me repeating it in just a couple minutes for all the traders who are joining on time, on schedule. Let's take a look at this. I look at the higher time frames, and that's what I jump out to. So let's take a look at the 1-hour chart. Let me get rid of these executions first. And let's go to the 1-hour chart at first. The 1-hour chart right there. And I mean, this is what I was looking at. I was looking at a flagging pattern. You could see that there was this nice, bearish flagging pattern. Bearish, bullish, whatever you're looking at it. And it looked so heavy. We started to break through there. And I wanted to get in short because this is a good risk reward trade, and there's a possibility for this Nikkei to sell off. Maybe we could get down here to these 300 to 400s level. This is the next area that I am seeing as a possibility for support. We see some crazy moves in the Nikkei, Coach Jay, and this wouldn't be too crazy. I mean, it's a big move, but if we do start to sell off, and I could happen to find a way to get keep a runner on, and this market sells off even more, then yeah, that would be kind of like the stretch target. But I'm happy with taking profits if we do continue to sell off. This was the first thing. This flagging pattern was the first thing that I've been looking at and that I am watching. And once again, I'm going to be repeating some of this really quick. Then the next thing I like to do is I'll zoom in, right? I'll definitely zoom in. I'll zoom in to, I mean, the 100 tick is similar to like a 30-minute or a little bit longer of a time frame. Sometimes I'll look at the 100 tick here on the Nikkei, and then I'll take a look at the 5-minute. But the 5-minute is the reason why I entered this trade. And if we take a look here, you can see where we opened. This is where we opened tonight, where we kind of just going sideways, seen some volatility, and then we broke down. We tested this low around 800s, and then we bounced. And on that bounce, I was looking for a level. We say support becomes resistance, resistance becomes support. This seemed like a decent zone. These are not exact levels. It's a decent zone where it was support, and I looked for it to become resistance. So I went ahead, I got in short. I was perfectly fine with that one. And yeah, we just broke down and completely sold off. I took like 1 or 2 ticks worth of heat on 5 contracts. And
that's a great trade.
Yeah, man, this was definitely made up for the price action today during the New York session. And here we are.
Tell me about it.
The next thing I am looking at is there's some support here around the 700s. I did take that one take profit, that one contract off right here around 750. And yeah, if this thing wants to just sell off and sell off hard through the break of this decent size flag, then yeah, I'm going to let it. I'm going to take a couple contracts off as we go down. And that's one heck of a way to start, I guess, Thursday, right? Is this technically Thursday's price action?
And, yeah, this is Thursday on a short day too. So, this might be some of the best price action you see all day. The markets are closed tomorrow morning, 8:15 Central Time. We got to close all trades in combines and XFAs, and 8 a.m. Central, all live account trades need to be done. So this is a great trade for the day.
Yeah, and I'm okay. I'm not going to be trading tomorrow. I don't think you are either, right, Coach Jay? Because the markets are going to be, the U.S. markets are closed anyway.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. Now we're at the start of slow markets here, just getting in past 7:30 Central Standard Time. Once again, everybody who missed this, I got into this trade early, and we started this stream early because guess what? The markets do not care whether I'm streaming or not. I was in front of my charts. I was getting everything ready, and Coach Jay hopped on. We were getting everything set up. And I said, "Hey, I'm in a short Nikkei. Let me run to the bathroom real quick. I'm looking for the Nikkei to break down." I ran to the bathroom, came back, and the Nikkei was breaking down. And so we started the stream early. We're ready. Everything's running smoothly, and yeah, what a great start. I'm happy to have you on with us. Coach Jay, how was your day?
I had pretty much a scratch day. I was on fast markets this morning with Jake Ricci. Took a short in the S&Ps that we ended up cutting right before it dropped 20 points in my favor. But I did not like today's price action. Today's type of price action in the equities is the price action that normally looks like my biggest losing days because I'm a momentum trader and I'm looking for continuation of a move, not necessarily a breakout, but a move to start and get some continuation. And we never really got that. So I lost $25.20 on my XFA today. And I was very happy about that. I could have made $1,000 and struggled to make that, or lock myself out, understand that this is not my price action, and just wait and save the account for some better price action. So pretty quiet day for me. I locked myself out early, went and got lunch, and we'll see what happens on Friday.
That makes sense. Do you trade every product? What?
I will. I will trade anything that moves pretty much. I'm taking a break from trading the NASDAQ for January. So if I'm trading the equities, I'm focusing on the S&Ps. But I'll trade pretty much anything. I'll trade crude oil, nat gas, any market that's presenting an opportunity and moving. What I really like to do is find a market that's been presenting opportunities on a consistent basis, right? Where it might not be something I trade, but nat gas, for example, is our top percentage mover every day this year so far. So really? I should be looking at nat gas for opportunities because every day it's a 5 or 6% move, which there's a ton of opportunity. And so I won't trade everything, but if it presents an opportunity, if it presents a setup, I will take it.
And that's fair. I mean, that's the futures market. We're traders at the end of the day. I mean, sometimes there is. I mean, if you have enough experience, if you're comfortable trading it, there are some questions I always get was like, do you trade every product the same, right? And my answer is yeah, I do. Every single product and every single thing I do in these markets, I trade them the same. And let me just pull up the DOM so I know traders like to watch this. But yeah, whether it's the Nikkei, whether it's the crude oil, the NASDAQ, gold, in general, right? Like the overall structure and the way I trade it is the same. However, there's little fine tweaks that I might do depending on the market. Like the NASDAQ. I do know the NASDAQ's really volatile. It could be very whipsawy, like move back and forth, run stops. And if I want to compare that to, say, the ES or crude oil or even gold, I might trade those just a little bit different, just because every market you trade, typically it has its own personality. It has its own way that it trades, times that it trades, when it's most volatile, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. What's your thoughts on that? Do you trade every market the same?
Yeah, pretty much the same analysis. I'm looking at the same setups for each market. The one thing, like you said, there's little tweaks you have to make here and there. If I'm trading one of the treasury products, if I take a trade in the 10-year, I'm not looking for an exit 5 minutes after entering the trade. If I'm trading the NASDAQ, I might be looking for an exit 5 seconds after taking a trade, right? Depending on the price action that we're getting. So the one thing I think I adjust is the time horizon for the trades. If I'm trading a slower product, then I'm just going to give it more time to work out. I'm not, trading the treasury products for scalps, even though traders do. I'm looking for a longer time frame move there, but the technical setup is going to be the same.
Makes sense. Yeah, I mean, it's the same. I will always recommend traders to focus on one product to understand the personality of the market, the nuances of the market, get good at it, consistent at it, and then you can start to explore the markets. And then there's the other aspect of maybe test a few out and then find which one you like the best, and then just focus on that one. So there's a few ways you could do that. Which one's better? I don't know. I just know for myself, I like to just focus on one, practice it, get used to it, and then start to expand. What do you suggest for your VIP team?
Exactly what you just said. Focus on one, especially if they're newer in their trading journeys, which some of my VIPs are. But for a lot of them as well, we had one trader, Derek, who was struggling in the NASDAQ for a very long time. It's like, hey, just trade something else. He switched over to the Dow and he's seeing success in that account, right? So, find the one that resonates with you, that, allows you to make trading decisions that you're comfortable with, and go from there, right? We're going to hear about the NASDAQ most on Topstep TV because that's what most of our traders trade. Mm-hmm. But, it's okay if you're struggling in some place to go, find the market that works for you.
Exactly. I'm not good. And just for everybody who's just tuning in, I'm in the short trade. I did the Top Step risk disclosure. I'm not going to go through the rapid fire like I normally do. The markets are closed during the New York session. It's going to be a light volume. There's no trading tomorrow. And so I think there's going to be more value in just having some good conversation here with Coach Jay. It's been a while, Coach Jay, since I had you on for slow markets. And now that everything's getting back to normal, we could get you on more. And I even talked about flying out to New York one of these days, maybe when the weather's starting to get nicer and play some basketball.
I love New York, but it is cold here. I'm sure. I mean, that's nothing to you. You're in Utah. I'm sure it's cold there too. But I normally don't suggest people to visit New York unless you're in the wintertime, unless you're coming for like Christmas time, holidays. It's nice to kind of be in New York, but it's much better when the weather's nice.
I mean, good thing they play basketball inside, right?
That is true. That is true.
What are you looking at going into tonight? If you have any trades, I know you just placed a trade. Can you walk through that? I'll bounce back and forth through my chart if the market's doing anything. We have your charts open, I believe now. Walk through that trade, maybe through your thought process, and we'll continue to answer questions tonight and see how this Nikkei trade plays out. Maybe near the end of class, we can review some trader statistics. I haven't done that for a while either.
Yeah, I'm in this trade. I'm not in the trade in my Topstep account. I'm in it in my personal account. I just got long the euro. Was just kind of scanning and looking for a quick opportunity. I actually just took the trade off. Just made a couple $100 on that. Just got long on this test of this 200 moving average, or sorry, 20 moving average here on the 30-minute chart, kind of near the lows of this candle. Took a couple contracts and just took it off for a quick scalp trade again. This is not something that I was looking for a long time. I know the markets are closed tomorrow, so you can make a couple bucks on that trade. I'll take it, and that be the trade for the day. So I got in about where's that price right here? Whatever this, I hate quoting prices of markets that I don't trade often, but somewhere near the lows of this 30-minute candle here, and took it off at these highs. Took about 4 contracts, and I'm out of that trade.
Yeah.
And right now I'm looking at crude oil, to be honest with you, for this Topstep account, because we are selling off. Crude hit that $75 level earlier today and has been selling since. If I look at when the Asian session started, which was, about 40 minutes ago, pretty big selling came in there. So I'm looking for a place maybe on a pull up to 73s to get in short crude.
Man, I mean, I've been looking for $75 for a few weeks now. We hit it, and that was it.
That was it. That was all I needed.
It's like it's just 75 and gone. I want to see crude get back to something where it's a lot more tradable for me personally.
Okay.
I haven't seen a lot of volatility. It's been not that great for the past few months, half a year. Maybe that starts to pick up. Usually crude is news and headline driven, right? And so if we get a lot more news headlines coming out, then it could be possibly more tradable. Kind of similar with gold. Gold's like a little bit better. I haven't placed a trade in crude or gold for, it feels like 6 months. It's been the Nikkei and the NASDAQ.
Pretty good gold trade. Looks like it's setting up right here for a potential short.
Yeah, that's gold you have pulled up.
Yeah, I'm going to put an order in here, actually. It's going to be a one lot, 2678. I'm going to go short 2678 in gold.
Why is that? This is a 30-minute chart.
Yep, 30-minute chart. The red line is VWAP. VWAP left that opening range fairly early. If we get a test of this low of this opening range, we're testing the VWAP right now and kind of holding it as a resistance. If we get a test of the low of that opening range, 2678.4, or maybe I'll just do this with micros and just build into the position. That might be the better trade. Yeah, we got a half-day session. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. All right, I'm short 1, 2, 3 micro gold right now, risking a new high on the day.
Okay.
And I'm short from 2677.4. My target is 2665. And if we make a new high on this, then I will be out of this trade.
And this is based off a 30-minute chart. You have an ATR in there, and then you're doing volume or what?
Yeah, so this red line here is VWAP, and VWAP is leaving this Globex opening range, right? So the first 30 minutes of the market open, VWAP left that range. So I'm getting short. We've seen this when it plays out sometimes be the trend for the day. So just going with that where this VWAP left fairly early. So I'm okay getting into this short and not going to risk a whole lot. If the market gets back above, we get a 30-minute close back above that VWAP, I might not even let it get to my stop here. But if we make a new high, I definitely want to be out of it.
Okay, that makes perfectly sense. How has your trading been? So this is kind of what I want to talk to you. It's been a while since we've had a good conversation. It's a new year. It's 2025. We've been together for a year and a half, basically, right? We started out coaching, and I turned into a trader, and we Topstep TV, and it's been absolutely crazy, the 2024. And here we are sitting together, slow markets, Wednesday night, in front of a nice audience. We're always on Topstep TV. Things have changed dramatically. Saying things grown, it's continuing to grow. And how was your 2024? And have you made any changes to the way that you trade, or how are you looking going into 2025?
2024 for me, honestly, was a struggle trading. And I think a lot of it was just trading unfocused, with all of the stuff that we were kind of picking up and doing with Topstep, and kind of focusing more on being a really good coach, and not focusing so much on my own trading. So 2024 was a struggle. It wasn't a loss for the year overall, but it wasn't a great year. It wasn't a great year. So I think 2025 for me, the focus has been compartmentalize, right, and put my trading in a box and give the time to my trading that it needs. And then when I'm in coach mode, the charts pretty much don't exist, right? So for me, what I've done now is kind of limit any distractions. I'm a little less active in the Discord chat when I'm actively trading, and it's been better so far. So I kind of started that towards the end of 2024, and I found it better, because if I'm distracted, and especially if I'm trying to help traders, my trading took a backseat. And we trade. I want to make money doing this. So if I'm going to do it, I need to give it my full attention.
I couldn't agree with you more. I've seen my trading this year struggle too, and I don't joke with that. I know they see the leaderboard. Oh my gosh, you made this money. How do you struggle? How do you adjust? How do you change? You see the ups and downs. You feel the ups and downs. You know what normal is for you. You know, like you, every trader has those ups and downs. And I've correlated a lot of the downs for me very similar. Being distracted with running a show, being a bit distracted with running the stream, or being on stream and focusing on chat or answering questions or doing this. And, that is very, very different to what I've always been used to, where I just sit in front of a computer monitor and focus on the markets, maybe
making decisions by yourself. You don't have to explain it to anyone. And this is not us complaining. I can speak for Dakota and myself. We both really love what we do, or we wouldn't be doing it. Yeah. But it takes a lot of focus. It takes a lot of focus, and we cannot make an excuse, right? We asked for this, but it's real, right? And I think it could relate to anybody else that we have in the chat as well, right? If you're working a 9 to 5, you're dealing with your kids and things like that. Life gets busy, right? So making a space for your trading to be as distractionless as possible I think is extremely important.
Yeah. Yep. Trust me, I absolutely love doing this. I know you do too, Coach Jay. Nothing brings you more joy than working with traders, and honestly, seeing that success. That's what has motivated me to be able to dedicate some more time for a VIP team. Holding the vote right now on social media, X, Twitter, and I'm excited. It's funny to see some of these names that traders have came up with. Once this poll's over, I'll start another one to come with a final name, and then just dive into it with you and the other coaches, and kind of get back into. Would it be considered back into the trenches, where narrowing the focus, right? Instead of 1,000 plus traders, narrowing it down to 50, focusing on those 50, yep. And getting like the work done, right? The behind the scenes, like trade. What do we do? How do we improve? Let's grow together as a group. How do we pick each other up when we're down? How do we work as a group? Everyone's like, what does everyone bring? Any growing together in a smaller group like that compared to a huge audience on YouTube are two very different things that I'm excited for. And that's it. That's all I have to say about it. And Topstep Trading League.
Yeah, it's great. I love working with the VIPs. We get a little more hands-on, right? We get to figure out exactly how each trader trades. and, give some pointers here and there when we can. But it is definitely fun. And the beginning of the trading league. So we will see how that goes.
Yeah. Let's continue to get some of these questions. I know you have access to some of those questions. There's one I wanted to talk. Dakota says, Dakota, what is your bread and butter setup? Well, what you're seeing right now on my charts right there, I'm short the Nikkei. This is my bread and butter setup. We had a sell off, right? We get a nice pullback, and then I enter on that pullback at a level of support or resistance, and then I look for a continuation to the next level of support and resistance. I did take profit around 750 on my first contract. I'm holding these other four contracts to see if we can break lower. Maybe we have another retest. Maybe I'll probably close one out if we do retest these lower 700s, and then maybe we can get a break down even lower. You can see I do a lot of the setups on higher time frames. So going back to this higher time frame, like an hourly chart, right? So I'll start on the hourly chart, do the setup, check out the pattern, see a direction, see if I can get some, like, is there a trade set up tonight? What are we looking for? What opportunities are there? And understanding where this market could possibly go. So I went through, I did that. I zoomed into the 5-minute chart and basically walked through that. And that's the setup. I was looking for this market to break the support on that pullback, and we actually broke it right before stream. We started a little bit early, and now I'm looking for this market to possibly do basically the same thing. Maybe that's a fair statement to say, is that would be the similar setup, right, Coach Jay, where we had a sell-off, we have a pullback, and then possibly continuation.
Another sell-off.
Right? Yeah. This first one is more. I like this one better because we were right at the start, and we had this really nice level, the support to target and possibly break. Now down here's a little. I would be less inclined to take this one just because there's no immediate support. Maybe this support that we see on January 6th. So maybe there's that we could break down, but the risk reward does not, it decreases as the trend continues, right? The start of the trend and the start of the breakdown typically has a higher risk reward. And then as we keep going and going and going, then the risk reward to short it for me and the way that I trade is typically less. And then you're always run into that fear of, well, we broke down, and then do we just bounce right back up, right? And then if you sell down here after the breakdown, then you kind of feel like, oh my gosh, did I really just sell at the low? And then we bounce and break up. So I would rather commit the capital on this first one where we have a really close support and resistance from today's session. And maybe I could use this as trail. And New York session is going to be closed. It's not great price action. I mean, this is great price action for my trade, but I'm not expecting anything too crazy tonight.
I agree. I did just add to that micro gold short, so I'm in 5 now. I'm okay risking about $300 on this trade total. And like I said, I would want to build into this position if we see some rejection in this opening range. So I moved my stop up just a little bit above these highs over here, risking less than $200 on this trade. So I do have a little bit more room to add to this. And if it gets stopped out, it gets stopped out.
I like that. This is a question I've gotten a lot myself. How do you let your trades play out? Do you just let them trade your trades play out, just like it's going to hit the stop or hit the take profit, or do you have some form of way that you adjust your stop loss, or you close it out early, or you take profit early?
So ideally for me, my ideal trade, right, if we want to go back to bread and butter setup, is a momentum trade that I take multiple contracts in and can trim the position to at least pay for the trade with one of the contracts. And then from there, I'm going to let the trade work as much as possible. But again, being a momentum trader, I'm reading momentum actively. There aren't many trades. I think my average trade time is about 11 minutes. There aren't many trades where I'm just sitting and not managing them. I'll do those for, longer time frame trades or investments or whatever it is. But for a day trade, I'm usually looking to get a piece of the market and then get out of there, right? With a runner, I may let the runner work. But for me, I have an idea for where I think the market can go. I'm reading the order flow to see how good of a job the market is doing at getting there. And then I'm taking profit as the market is presenting it to me. And, it's a different management style than, some people have, but sometimes I think I measure where the market can go. And if, you've probably done it as well, right? With some of your slow market trades where you have a target, the market doesn't get there and turns around. I just found that for me, that causes a lot of negative habits to come out. So I'm just like, okay, we need to find a way to at least realize something on these trades so that doesn't happen. So I will be trimming positions as the market's going in my favor. And I'll add back to trades if it's working out as well, but I'm taking something off the table.
Interesting. I mean, it makes sense, right? As long as you can follow that process consistently, yep. you can measure it, and then you can determine if that's the correct way or wrong, or you need to make an adjustment. Like, there is no wrong way outside of bad risk management. And then you have to try and define what's bad risk management for you. And then you have the basics that you get here on Shoulder Tap every day or on Topstep TV from that aspect as well. So great trade. I am watching that one as well. So kind of zoomed in. Nikkei's kind of still, it's starting. I don't know. Maybe I don't want to just sit here and overthink on this trade. I mean, this is maybe another example that I was referring to, right? I shorted right there at 920s, which was just an absolutely lucky entry, right? When we come like this same thing, pullback. Are we seeing the same pullback in length, right? We're talking about measured moves. Let's see. Pretty dang close, Jay.
It's pretty close.
Pretty dang close. Now, this is on the 1 minute chart, so I just take that one with like, it's a grain of salt. But it's the market's fractal. It's sometimes just crazy how it works out. It really is.
It is.
And then talking about managing positions, I did close off of one. And I'm going to show you, right? So this is where I closed out of that one trade at, it looks like 760. And the reason why I closed out was I was looking at this area as a level of support, right? So if I zoom out on a 5 minute chart and I seen, okay, the next support after we break, if we do break this, the next area of support is right there. And I'm perfectly fine with taking profit on that one for at least one contract. Maybe I'm going to be looking for right here around the 700, which now with a little bit of hindsight, that looks like that was the low. So maybe I take another one off around 700, and then maybe I let a few contracts run, and maybe we could see these. Maybe we could see 400s come into play. I don't know. I of course would love to see that.
That would be nice. That'd be a pretty nice trade there. I mean, you already have a pretty nice trade on, but we wanted to get to our ultimate target there. We got a question from Jared. Got a question about today's New York session. Was there a point in today's price action where you would have realized it was a range day? Selling the high and buying the low isn't something I like to do. I'll speak about that one because I think I realized it fairly early. And I've talked about this before, but you guys know I use a 3 minute chart during the New York session for most of my analysis. And I use VWAP for everything. Now, here's the 3 minute opening range. And if we attach VWAP to that range, we can see that it almost didn't leave the range, right? Well, what this is telling me is that although price action is leaving, there is no volume behind it that's pushing the move. So anytime I see VWAP that's a pretty flat angle, I'm going to think range bound market and should fade the extremes, right? That's part of the reason why I took the short up here at 59.48 because we were above VWAP back in the opening range and looking for a short. But that's how I'm going to tell. Now, sometimes it's easier to to tell fairly early on what type of price action we're going to get. Let's look at 2 different days, right? Here's today's price action. We can see VWAP barely leaving that opening range. And then I'm going to go back to yesterday's 3-minute opening range. You see how decisive this is? There's no question about where that VWAP is going. It left the opening range in the first 3 minutes. We came back, tested the range, but this is a decisive angle. So that's how I'm usually going to tell in fairly short order, right? Within the first half an hour or so, I should be able to tell at least what type of start we've had for the day. If I see the market start like this, I'm going to try to do my best to get in short as close as possible to this VWAP as possible. But when it's a flat angle, the way we had today, it's telling me to, 1, be patient because we're not getting momentum moves early. And then 2, as this continues throughout the rest of the day, find the extremes of the range to fade.
That makes sense. Interesting. That's one of the harder things for me anyway, personally, to determine like range day, consolidate, like what type of day is it going to be? Am I going to be looking for breakouts today during the New York session? I got whipsawed out. I hit my $5,000 day loss limit during the New York session because of that. And tomorrow's another, or actually not tomorrow. It's going to be tonight. Tonight's another day. And then
right now is another day.
Yeah. Then again, Friday is going to be another day. So that's where I struggle with Coach Jay is, determining, is this going to be a range trading day or is this going to be a breakout trend day? And then how do we trade it? Are we going to trade it like a range? Are we going to trade it like a breakout? Where do we get in? And I think that's what a lot of traders struggle with. That's like the golden question. If you could determine, is it going to be a range day or a trending day? Let me know. I'm sure I could only imagine the amount of money that a brokerage or a hedge fund would pay if somebody could figure out beforehand whether it's going to be a range or a trending day.
I'm not going to lie. I've looked at a bunch of strategies. I have not found a better way to determine early whether or not we're going to be in a range or a trend than using this strategy. When VWAP is a flat line and we've defined a range, if that VWAP does not leave that range, it is a range bound trade. I don't even know a better way to put that. It happens so consistently that I think it could be in a textbook.
Well, man, there it is. That's why we need to be on Topstep more often. We just need to trade together. And like,
exactly.
Hey, Coach Jay, is it range bound? All right. What's
the range?
What everyone always says now is like, how far have we moved up or down?
Yep.
That's what it is. But they now have it. Topstep X now has it, right, on the tab column on the internet browser?
It does, yeah. Yeah, so, the percentage move, up there. It's pretty cool.
Up here on the left, negative 0.66 here in the Nikkei. So I've seen the Nikkei move 1% pretty consistently. I would not be surprised if the Nikkei continues a sell-off to get to negative 1% tonight. What's the NASDAQ doing? This is a 1 minute. I mean, NASDAQ, nothing really, huh? I'm not seeing.
No, not much of anything I'm seeing there either.
Yeah. Okay, there we go. We'll just leave it. Don't mind watching the Nikkei. You're in that short gold. I'm short the Nikkei, and let's keep getting to some of these questions. And I think maybe the last 30 minutes of class, depending on how this trade is, we could take a look at some trader statistics. And our amazing moderator Andrew did post, if you guys want us to review your trader statistics, you could go into your Topstep X, click on share, copy the link, and then send it to the Coach Dakota. Looks like some of the traders are already starting to do it, but just go ahead and send them to this Discord channel. It's in Topstep's Discord. In that channel, share your statistics. Maybe put a good brief description, and the better the description you have, the better it is for Coach Jay and I to review your statistics and know what we're looking at. It gives some great context behind it, and we'll review some statistics tonight. The last 30 minutes, we'll see. This market is just kind of slowed down for the moment.
So Dakota, can I, if you can you pull up my screens real quick? I just
Yeah.
want to show your Nikkei trade through the through the eyes of that anchored VWAP setup. Here's the
Okay.
Globex open for the Nikkei, right? That 30-minute chart.
Okay.
Look at VWAP. Look at VWAP,
Yeah.
right? So this trade for me would be, trade entry would be, hey, volume left the range fairly early. So I'm trying to get a short as close as possible to this red line. Now your stop placement is, this is the Nikkei. So moves kind of like the Nasdaq can get stopped out. If it was the case in that gold trade where I set my stop above a new high, I would have gotten stopped out. Someone asked, where does ATR, the ATR on my chart, come into effect here? We've talked about this on At the Buzzer, but normally if I'm entering a slow markets trade, my stop is going to be 2 times that ATR value. So in the Nikkei, for example, the ATR is 97. We'll call it 100. So my stop would have had to be 200, which you can see is so far out of the way that the market did not trade up there, and that would have been the trade.
Nice.
You're seeing it the way you see it, but that's this trade here now.
Interesting. I
So
see.
yeah, perfect short
I tell you time
in
and
my
time
mind.
again, um, similar to like with Hoag too, like two different ways of viewing the markets, two different trading styles, and then sometimes they just line up really well like that. It's like,
Uh,
go ahead.
uh, Someone was asking what is the green and gray box. It's just a fib tool with the 0, 5%, 50%, and 100% level. I'm just manually drawing those just to identify, just kind of visually put the range on the chart.
Okay. Um, I do not use gamma. I do not use gamma, just pure technical analysis. Here's a question. Do you have any gold strategies or videos you recommend? Uh, I, I don't have any videos I recommend specifically on a specific market. I try and go over technical analysis. I talk about gold each night, and I know what you go over it, right, Coach Jay? You and Paul?
Yep, exactly. Yeah, we'll go over. But I agree with you, Dakota. I don't know that I have a strategy video for a specific market. I think uh, identify what type of technical analysis you want to apply, and then it can apply to pretty much any market you trade.
That makes sense. Do you want to show? There's a few questions in the chat on how to share your statistics. Do you have your combine? Are you able to like demonstrate that, please?
Oh yeah. So on the performance stats on the left side up here, you're gonna click on performance stats, and then you have this share button up here. Just
Okay.
click share, copy link, and then that link you're gonna share in Dakota's Discord.
Yeah,
So
yeah. In the Top Steps Discord, my channel, and Andrew did post the link. I post the link too. It's right there at chat. I'm gonna go ahead and pin it to the top of chat. Let's see. Um, I'll just post it a couple more times. I'll post it a couple more times before we start reviewing them. I can't find the pin button. I don't want to break anything. Last night I was struggling with the stream, and so tonight, if everything's working well, I'm perfectly fine with just leaving stuff alone. I want to see us break down though here on the Nikkei. It's hesitating. It looks like we're trying a couple times. I want to see us if we could break below 740. I think this market can go. You can see over here I'm watching the bid and ask. I honestly I watch the bid and ask a lot more when I'm trading the Nikkei than I do the Nasdaq. The Nasdaq's just moving so fast
really,
and it's so liquid.
okay.
But here on the Nikkei, you kind of tell it a lot more because I mean the bid and ask is a little bit more telling the way I'm seeing it anyway, because the market's so slow and everything's so slow. And comparing this to the NASDAQ, it's just absolutely insane going back and forth and back and forth. So,
Yep.
yeah, I'll watch it. You can kind of see, does the bid and ask get above the last filled price or below that last filled price? Sometimes you'll start to watch the bid and ask drift below quite a bit or above quite a bit, and that'll kind of give you an idea. So, and maybe I could kind of explain it. Is this the right way or wrong way? I don't know. It's just kind of helps
It's
me
your way.
gauge. It helps me gauge when I'm getting in or getting out of the market, right? Because you've seen how I kind of top ticked ticked this one. I was watching the bid and ask, and as soon as the bid and ask got up there, I hit buy at bid or sell at ask, right? For this example, and that allowed me to get in a little bit better than to just buy market, or just be by watching this chart. And you almost have to watch the bid and ask on the Nikkei in order to understand where the market's at, because sometimes the bid and ask could be a few ticks above or a few ticks below, and that's a very important thing when you're dealing with a market like this. And here we go. See the bids at 735, and the ask is at 740, and now we're starting to watch the bid and ask get a bit lower, and now it's going to be very important that some orders start to get filled at below 740, and next thing you know, I mean, this thing could drop fast. I mean, you could see in 1 minute it can move really quick.
The Nikkei is the one market that I've seen that sometimes you'll get fills outside of that bid and ask, right? Well, if you'll look at it, the last trade, for example, the ask right now in the Nikkei 740, the last trade is at 745. And sometimes, if somebody comes in there and trades some size, they're going to have to push well above where that, that last offer is. I think like you said, it's a great place to try to read the DOM, because it's not the NASDAQ, right? It's not ones and twos, and moving at 1,000 miles an hour.
Yeah, and that's 100% correct. And maybe we'll get an opportunity to demonstrate that here. If this market does start to sell off, I could probably demonstrate one time getting out at market. I'm okay taking the spread to demonstrate it, right? Traders you can't really move the markets, but this is a beautiful example of you're not moving the markets dramatically like a market maker to manipulate anything. But yeah, if the bid and ask is whatever it is, you buy market, you're filling a price at the ask. You sell market, you're filling a price at the bid. And sometimes when the bid and ask is different than the last filled price, then yeah, technically you could see your order go through the market, and it's an interesting thing. And it's a good example for new traders and to understand how the bid and ask works, the fill price, what is a spread, and some of the very basic questions that we don't really talk about much on Topstep TV. But we have a lot of new traders coming in, and I know we've had conversations about new traders and how we get acquainted, because from a new trader's perspective, we sound like it's a different language.
I agree. Yeah. And I mean, I think you're a great example of it doesn't have to be super complicated, and sometimes it can be. And it's added information, but definitely have to start with the basics, right? I coached basketball for 12 years, and I had, I coached from high school level and college athletes to, third graders. And with the third graders, and then even when you get up to those college athletes, sometimes getting back to basics is exactly what we need to do. And then you can add complications on top of that, but keeping things simple first.
Yeah. I mean, it makes you kind of put in perspective when I have a trader asking me what is a bid and ask, and what is a spread, what is these things, and it gives you a nice fresh perspective on trading, because we were all there. We really were. And to be honest, that's probably some of my favorite times, going through those ups and downs and learning this, and how fun it was and interesting. And what made us really fall in love with the markets is understanding these little tiny things. And so we have new traders, and they're trying to tune in and understand and learn. I would love to be able to maybe with yourself or work with a team to get some type of structure out there for the new traders, and even host a class. I'd love to do that.
Yeah, for sure. Jared has a good question in here. New traders can't comprehend market structure. Sometimes you still can't at 3 years like me, but I'm glad I don't throw darts at the chart now. That's interesting, right? How about we kind of ask the chat, right? If anyone's a new trader, let's say you're within a year or so of trading, what's one thing you could say that, you you struggle with the most, or you would want to learn in your trading? Right. If you're a year into your trading journey.
Oh man. If I could go back to where I was 1 year into my trading journey, I'd be impressed because I'd have some good memory if I could. I think the number one thing I wish I would have known the most early, and yeah, I think the thing I wish I learned earlier is just the power of simplicity. Now, I could probably put a lot of what traders are putting in there, risk management, patient, disciplined, emotions, this, there's a lot. But I think everything, if I could boil it down to just like, hey, what could I learn? If I was to invest, say, 20 hours into learning something or understanding a concept, I would say the power of simplicity and the use of like minimal indicators. Like, hey, just use one or two indicators, use basic price action, use market structure, and focus on just simplicity. And as I'm speaking here, here we go, just like that. We're down here at 710. Let's get this thing going. Let's get this on the road. Maybe we could get this set up and show traders what it will look like managing a profitable position and see if we can, quote, move a market with a single contract. Come on, let's see if we could push these lows. We got down to 710 and right back up to 735.
Someone just traded 11 contracts at that low. Interesting.
Yeah, let's see. Let's see if we can push it. You see where? Look how far the bid and the ask is. The bid is at 720. The ask is at 735, and that's a $300 difference with four contracts.
That's pretty crazy.
So you got to understand, if I push the buy market, I'm giving up $300 between the bid and the ask. And we look like we tried, Coach Jay, and we're starting to see the market move a little bit more. You said there was 11 contracts filled?
Yeah, someone filled 11 contracts right at that low.
Charles says someone had a market if touched order down there. Maybe an
algorithm. That's kind of what it looked like. Where that someone, obviously for every buy there's a sell, but it looks like there was a passive order down there that got filled. Kind of absorbed some of that selling on the way down, right above 700s.
That makes sense.
Gold selling here.
Yeah, we'll switch it to your charts.
Conservative price target for this trade is 26.72, and then if we get there, I may take one off, but ultimately I want this down to 26.65 ish.
Nice trade, Coach Jay.
Thank you.
Nice.
Wish I would have took it. I mean, I'm not going to say that. I took it with micros because I wanted to manage risk on a short trading day.
Yeah. Process over profits, man. Like over and over again. I know that feeling. Oh, yep. Trust me. I've ran into that so many times ever since I'm holding a class. I'm like, I'm in the middle of a class, so I'm just gonna go ahead and take this with a smaller size. And some of those are like some of the best trades. And so, yeah.
It happens. We got a request to look at the 30-year bonds. I'm not seeing a whole lot right now in the bonds. I know from my experience, I don't trade them that often, but they don't move too much overnight. But they present some really good trade opportunities. If you look at the 7 a.m. Central Time 30-minute candle, that has been over the past couple of days on the same setup that I've been talking about, right? Frame out that candle, anchor VWAP to it. It's a beautiful short here. And, the bond market has been under very heavy sell pressure lately. If we zoom out, going back to December, it's pretty much just a downtrend. So I think personally, it's find a place to sell it for a day trade, or if you're buying it, it needs to be coming off of a bottom. It looks like.
I don't trade those. I'll watch them every once in a while, but that's more of a Jack thing here.
Yeah. Yep.
Jack he's the bond guy. He knows a whole lot more about bonds than I do. I think anybody at Top Step here, right? Or am I wrong?
Yeah, he's definitely the most knowledgeable. I would say Jack, and then probably Andre.
Okay. Has Andre traded bonds?
I think he has. I know he traded currencies when he was trading most frequently, and I think that's why he has some decent knowledge on it. But Jack was the bond trader.
Interesting. Okay. Before I get to a couple questions, pull up the Nikkei and kind of what you've seen, because I'm looking at the Nikkei, and when you've seen that come through, that is
Hmm.
a beautiful example of a possible trade opportunity, because we're bouncing from that point of
Yep.
where you've seen that at what was it, 710, 720, and that
720. Yeah.
yeah, it used to like, oh, that market on if touched order came in and absorbed buying, and here we are at 770s. That could be a good example of, hey, I wasn't even looking at the charts, but you've seen it happen, and there could have been an opportunity there, and that's a good example of reading what volume, order flow, all of
Yep.
the above, and having that all come to one for a trade. Not even caring too much about the technicals.
Let me see if I can share a different screen with you real quick. I'm gonna pull up my Quant Tower screen.
Okay.
Give me 1 second here. And I'm pulling up Quant Tower the same way other people use uh,
Like Bookmap or something.
Bookmap. Right, exactly. So same information that you're gonna get here, but let me see if I can share this real quick.
Okay. While you do that, I'm going to answer a question. Someone says, "Can you tell me about your best and worst trade ever?" My worst trade ever probably was one where wow, I can't even think now. Go over that, Coach Jay. Let me think on that question. What
Yeah,
my
sure.
best and worst
So
trades ever were.
what I'm looking at here, these are called power trades. You can see this is my Quant Tower screen. All of these blue or orange boxes are orders of a specific amount of volume filled in a 1 second clip, right? So for the Nikkei, because it's a pretty thin market, I have that filter set to 10 contracts. So anytime 10 contracts get traded in a 1 second period, I want one of these indicators to show up. This is a 30-minute chart here. And what I've seen, and you can kind of see it here, just when some of these indications show up at the extremes of these candles, especially orange at the lows, that's telling me that is seller absorption, right? Where a big seller came in here, they met a buy order. We can see the delta on this order specifically is 92% negative, which means most of the order that got filled here, 27 contracts to the sell side. And then we see the market reaction after it. That's kind of what I'm looking at right here, right? Where we can see this pattern right here. And, you can see it on a 30-minute chart where this is an area of decision-making area that the market had to decide what it's going to do here. But when I see that absorption at that low like that, and I've seen this in a bunch of different markets, it usually ends up being a potential reversal signal. Now, does the market trade all the way back up to the other side? Who knows? But that is usually an indication to me, at least to, if I was in a short, think about position management. And then the same thing at the highs, right? We see this one up here, this kind of blue absorption at the extreme of the candle. And sometimes you're going to get indications in the middle, and that tells me to ignore it. But when it's at the high like this, we can see that reversal. That's kind of what I was looking at those lows.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, because that happened right there at the low at 720, and we're
Yep.
sitting here pushing those 800s. So yeah, just wanted to point that out. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter what market you're
Yeah.
trading. Like you can use that. I mean, I wish I don't know as much as you do, probably, Coach Jay, regarding that. Um, but yeah, that was something where you kind of just like talked about it as it was happening, and that was definitely part of it.
Yeah. Sometimes I get that indicator and then, the market bounces and then we get follow through. But there's other times where that ends up being the high or the low. I think it really depends where it happens.
You have it down to
That was an
10
interesting.
contracts, right?
Yeah, I mean, for the Nikkei, for the Nasdaq, for
Okay.
example, I
Okay.
have it set to 400 contracts in a 1 second clip, right? Just because the Nasdaq trades more volume. In the S&P, I'm
How
looking
does
at
that look?
anytime. Let me see. Let me pull it up here. And
Because
where's
I
the
know
Nasdaq?
sometimes I've
Oh,
been in that little 10 contracts, sometimes with my stop losses.
exactly, exactly.
Not
Give
the
it.
400.
We'll give it a second to load here, but I'll pull up the Nasdaq and we'll look through like kind of the last month or so, um, and see when those pop up. All right. So you have my screen again. Here's the Nasdaq here.
Oh, this is the last
Again,
month?
yeah. So this is going back all month, right? So let me let's just look at a couple of them, right? We see this one here, right at the lows. 400 contracts get absorbed right there. The market bounces, and I've kind of just for myself, right? Every indicator that you use, I think, is as important as you make it, right? And the information that it provides for you. But anytime I've and I kind of put a little rhyme just to make it easy for me to remember. But it's if it's blue at the highs, it dies. That's just the rhyme I have, because if I see absorption of buyers at the highs and extremes of candles like this, the market usually sells off, right? If it's somewhere near the lows, then I'm looking for a potential to buy there. But we can kind of see it, right? The orange at these lows here and creating a little bit of a bounce. And here's a different example, but the way I'm reading this, right, where we have this selling that came in at the low of this candle, but if we look in the overall picture for the day, this was somewhere near the high of that day, right? So I'm not trying to fade this seller that comes in. What this is telling me is wait for an opportunity for a potential bounce and then to get into a short. But when it ends up being somewhere near the lows of the day, that's usually a pretty quick indicator for me to just jump into the other side of that trade. Kind of scroll back and look for a couple of different examples, but here's another one here, right, where this is selling that came in at these highs. We get a little bit of a retracement into it. This is where, Dakota, we've been on fast markets for a couple of times, right? Where
Right.
I'm like, hey, if we get above XYZ, then I'm looking for the market to start covering. This is exactly what I'm looking at, right? I'm looking at where these orders came in on a price perspective, and then
Okay.
saying, hey, if the market trades back up to there, then and sells off, then that seller is still defending that position. If we get above it, then this person, whoever created this, 400 contract sell side order, if the market gets above their position, they're going to have to start covering unless they, have enough money to continue selling. And to me, that's I've kind of just simplified reading my order flow to looking at this.
Interesting. Yeah, that's such an interesting perspective, and it makes sense to me. I mean,
Yeah.
you're looking for where orders are coming into the market really fast, right, and really big
Yep.
in terms
Yep.
of volume, and following it. So I like that. There was something about it. Obviously, it worked out in the Nikkei.
Right.
I mean, 10 contracts. It's debatable, right? But there's something to
Right.
it.
Exactly.
If that's abnormal, right? 10 contracts could be like, oh wow, that's big for whatever market you're trading, and depending on the time and so many different things. But that's stuff you just don't see on the charts, really.
Right.
I mean, you could see a candlestick move from up to down, and like depending on the time frame you're looking, how far that candlestick moved. And if you're watching, you could maybe see the candlestick move quicker, like Coach or not Coach Dobie. Dobie says it's wiggling. You can see the market, pick up
Right.
speed, and in reality, you're just seeing a lot of more orders coming in quicker, right? And yeah, that's kind of what you don't see in technicals and in price action. Well, I guess that is price action, right? But from the
Yeah. Right.
candlesticks, from candles perspective, it's the invisible, I guess.
It's what created the candle, right? It's what created the
Exactly.
candle. I think my trading mentor used to say all the time, it's like tops and bottoms of the market aren't meant for us if we're retail traders, right? Those are meant for market makers because they can actually turn the market. And in this case, like you said, in the Nikkei, is that really a market maker? It's 10 contracts. But in something like the Nasdaq or something like the S&P, where my filter is 1,500 contracts in a 1 second clip, the person that's trading 1,500 contracts, they have some say in what the market is going to do, right? They don't have complete control, but if you can trade 1,500 contracts in a second, I kind of want to follow whatever it is that you're doing.
I'm with you, man. You say someone's going to be jumping in a direction with 1,500 contracts in a second.
Right.
throw my money on there with yours.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing. Either I just wasn't paying attention when you're talking about it too often. But yeah, there's definitely something there. I don't know it. I don't understand it, enough to say I've traded it or practiced it. It'd be something that I would be like, yeah, you know what? Sure, I'll try it in a demo account, practice it, understand it. And, maybe that helps or hurts me. And, maybe it's very, very well, but then will I implement it into my own trading? Probably not, because I'm fine.
Right.
I stay in my lane. I'm consistent. I do what I do. And, yeah, but those are some really cool things. And, these are the features that I'm always reaching out, and I'm always telling traders here in the chat, hey, you like a feature? Suggest it in the Topstep X. And Topstep X is not even a year old yet. And I could only imagine this time next year what Topstep X is going to look like. It's going to be amazing.
Oh, yeah. Much different. If we could get something similar to that in Topstep X, I would love it. Just tell me where a big lot got filled, and it helps me read the market. I'm going to share one more time, Dakota, just that Nikkei chart, just so we can kind of look. There was another one on the way down, right? So this one here is 30 contracts. 30 contracts, sell side order. If we look at the delta, this is negative, right? So this is selling. You see kind of where we pulled up to and rejected. And of course, it's at a major level. It's at 39,800. You don't need this order flow stuff, right? So I want to make that clear. You don't need this, right? We rejected at a major level there. You could just trade around whole number levels, and that might be enough. But on this short that you're in, right, and you had no reason to take your trade off, but look at kind of where we rejected, right, where another one of those sell side orders came in. If the market traded above this one, and again, relative to the market that you're trading, is 30 contracts huge? If we're looking at the NASDAQ, no, but 30 contracts in the Nikkei is significant. So whoever sold here, if the market traded above it, I would be reading whether or not they start to cover that position. But it looks like they've at least defended it. So we get that continued selling.
Yeah.
Now let's see what happens.
Any amount of contracts can be significant depending on the market and the time of day, right? The market could just be flatlined, and then someone jumps in 5 contracts, and it's like, wow, okay, something happened there. But then it's up to you as a trader to interpret the data and make a decision on that. And as we're doing it, if we pull up my charts right here, yeah, sure enough, here we are right back down at the lows. And yeah, we could very well, ran someone's stop, and we tried to run higher, and here we are pushing back towards 740 after this trade. Let's see. I really want this trade to just play out before we switch, before the end of class. Trading comes first. I would like to get to some statistics, and yeah, I want this trade to play out first, and then we'll get to some statistics. Let's see. I want to see. I was just about ready to jump over to the stats, and the market started to sell off a little bit, and yeah, it's one of those where as soon as you turn your head, as soon as you start talking about something else, the market moves. And we're sitting here with a bid and ask right at 730s. If you want to pull up some statistics, Coach Jay, on your chart or on your end, and we'll watch this market on my end. But
okay, let's see what we got over here.
We're right here at 715 at the bid. Someone says they won't be able to sleep. We're gonna just end the stream with this trade on and have you guys watch the Nikkei all night because you're worried about my trade.
We got some pretty good ones here.
Yeah, go through them. I'm watching the Nikkei here. We're right down at the 720 level. That's kind of where that order was, and we're gonna see what happens. I don't mind switching up a bit. Really want this market to go in terms of time. Sorry guys, this is slow markets. Everybody, like a trade like this for me can last hours because the markets are slow. Like I said, Coach Jay and I, we started stream a few minutes early because of that exact reason. I got in right before slow market started, and then the market started selling off, and we were ready and like, yeah, let's just start the stream early because guess what? The markets don't care whether I'm in the middle of a stream or I'm not in a stream. The markets will move, and sometimes setups, they happen, and you get in, and then you start a stream, and then the stream ends. And as soon as the stream ends, then the market moves again, and then you either close or get stopped out of that trade. But while we do that, if you have some statistics, Jay, I'm going to continue to watch this trade, and we can pull up your charts. And when you're ready,
I'll pull over one trader we have here. Let's see. We got this up here. All right, so here's the message. Here you go. 50K XFA, had it for over 2 months. 75% of my trades are shorts. I have only had 7 losing sessions since I started this account in November. Over 15K profit so far. Sharing because you can make money shorting the market. So it would be good if you could show this to other traders as an example. All right, let's see. So we got a XFA open since November 8th. 15K profits, like you said, 73% win rate. That's a great win rate. Trading micros, obviously, in this. I already kind of see a lot of trades here, but that's fine. You're probably scaling in and out of positions. And if we're looking at the average win and loss, that's definitely a function of micros. Let's see here. Like you said, 75% short trades. I love the hold times.
That's long for trade duration.
3 hours? Over 3 hours? It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's right there.
My trade times do not last that long at all. But let's take a look. Yeah, I mean, this is great. What I see here, regardless of how you trade, and okay, so trading multiple products, I see micro Bitcoin, I see the Dow, the Russell, a lot of all micros, which is great, especially for a 50K account where that balance starts. This is a perfect example of not having to trade a ton of size in order to make money. Now, if we look at, there's 3 days here.
That Tuesday was 5,000. This one. And that Friday was 2,000.
Yeah, I mean, wow. Okay, what happened here? This was like one big trade. Okay, that's interesting. What happened here? That's what I'm looking for. Did we scale up and trade minis one day?
Or you just built a big position in micros?
Right, yeah, that's what it looks like. It looks like built a big position in the micros. See 3, 6,
or news.
9.
Someone saying news possibility.
So this was December 31st. So
end of day. Was no news. It's end of year.
Yep, end of year.
Big sell-off.
They held the trade for 3 hours. It was a long trade, but 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21.
Big size.
That's a ton of size there. Yeah, I'm looking at almost 50 micros here.
Which is 5 minis.
Yep. Oh, it's still going. I think we're closer to 100 micros.
Okay.
Is that even possible in a 50K account? It looks like you went max size there. Nice trading, right? Nice trading. The balance in this account is, it looks like most of it is from a couple big days, which is fine, right? That's going to happen. Where I think it's really nice to see this trader be able to have these home run days, but not try to hit one every day, right? Where you're okay on a day like, this Tuesday, making $500, losing a little bit and managing that, and then really hitting it on the days where you're seeing the price action really well. I would just say be conscious of the size, but you know what you're doing here, right? And this is really good trading. Anything you got on this, Dakota?
No, just be cautious that it is like trading micros. It racks up a lot of commissions, and it's always cheaper to trade minis if you're going to trade that size. But I do like how the trader's not trading every day. I see stretches where the trader's not trading. Yeah, there's holiday, but there are days where the trader could have traded and decided not to. And I like that. I like to see when traders decide not to trade some days, because trading is optional. You do not need to trade every single day. Only when you feel good and you're prepared and there's a setup, and you execute that way. So I like seeing that for a lot of those days, it looks like.
Yeah. Yeah, really nice stuff. And no really big losing days, right? Where I'd say a $600 losing day is reasonable, right? Every once in a while in this account, because of what your winning days look like. I wouldn't let them get any bigger than that, but this is great.
Yeah, I agree. You can't argue with profit in no matter what, whether short or long. Shorts make money, longs make money. It's all about how you manage your trades and risk management. So I like that one. I'm going to answer a few more questions while you pull up a
Okay.
few more statistics. I'm going to do my charts. I'll have it on my chart.
Yep.
Everyone
Sounds good.
update on the Nikkei, and I'll read some of these questions coming out. We are still just hovering right around 750. We did make that run down there to 720 on the Nikkei. It's hovering around 750. But let's get to a few more questions. You might know this better than I do, Coach Jay. On average, how long does it take to pass a 150K combine? My answer to that, well, Coach Jay is looking for stats, is it depends. It always depends on every question. It does.
Yep.
I would say longer than you think. Okay, if you're looking at that, and if you're looking to pass a combine, whatever you think, just it's longer. Like that's kind of the best way to look at it. Now, you can say you could purchase a combine and you could pass it in 2 days, which is the minimum. But if you pass a combine in 2 days, are you like, how big of a sample size are you really trading? How confident are you going to be trading the exact same in an XFA? Are you going to be trading the exact same? Are you going to be trading the same size? Are you going to be trading the same style? How confident are you compared to somebody who passes in 2 months, right? Somebody who trades and then takes 2 months to pass, then they're going to have a lot more data. They're going to have a lot bigger sample size and a lot more confidence when they do get into an XFA to follow that same process, to follow that same strategy, knowing that, hey, I've traded really good for 2 months and I can adjust to different market conditions. Because just like today during the New York session, I did horrible. It was bad price action for the way that I trade. Now, if you're trying to pass in 2 days on Combine and you get a day like today during the New York session, it could be pretty hard. And yeah, so the bigger the sample size, the better it is. And so if you're trying to pass a combine, I would say just get as big of a sample size what requires to pass, and that the answer is typically until your strategy allows you to pass it. Like, you're going to be making $50 a day until you pass. There's nothing wrong with that on average. You're going to make $100 a day on average. Sure. The goal is not to make as much money as fast as you can. The goal is to follow a process consistently and learn how to make make points or ticks and consistently follow that process over a longer period of time, so that way when you do transition from a combine to an XFA, you can follow that same process, do it again, take payouts, make money, and then get transferred to a live, and then you follow that exact same process in a live account that you did in the combine and the XFA consistently. It's slow, it's consistent, it's boring, for a lack of a better way to describe it. I mean, you're going to be trading. If you want to trade for the rest of your life, I mean, you just got to understand 2 days is not going to make or break the rest of your trading career.
Great point.
Did you find any more? We're still hovering around 750 here in the Nikkei.
Yeah, I got another good one here. Looks like this trader started their XFA on Christmas Day.
Okay.
Nice little Christmas gift here, but they're struggling a little bit. Comment says, I will take any advice you have. Like to say I'm very coachable, had a couple of horrible days. Started off this account with a loss.
Okay.
Opened the account like a new toy that you get on Christmas Day as a kid, and you just want to I just want to play with this toy. And let's start trading right away.
It broke.
And yeah, you break it on the first day. You ever had that happen to you? Actually, I remember this was like 2001, maybe 2000. I got a Sonic the Hedgehog game for Dreamcast and for Christmas, and played it for like 30 minutes. And then all of a sudden, I don't know what happened, but it broke and could never play the game again. I was pretty sad.
I do. I remember my older brother, he got Nintendo 60. We got like the whole entire family, kind of like a family gift. Nintendo old Nintendo 64.
Okay.
It wasn't brand new out of the box. It was used. Because yeah. Anyway, and we got a new game though, like the new game, and we opened it up. And we were playing outside and didn't notice, like inside the Nintendo 64 game got a little bit wet. And you know how you take them out and you blow it off and you stick it back in, and it typically works. It fried the system.
Oh man.
Worst ever. Worst. And that was Christmas Day. And it's like, what can you do?
Yeah, you sit there and look at the box. It's like, what do we do now?
Go outside and have a snowball fight. That's it.
Right. Oh man, that's tough. But it looks like that's what this trader did on the first day of this account, right? You took some trades early. Looks like you were didn't want to accept what a loss was going to be on this account. You were down about $500, recovered it, and I will say it time and time again. If you have a day like this, from my own experience, if I have a day where I'm down a significant amount and I recover it and get somewhere close to break even, this is where I lock myself out. Sometimes it's nice to make a recovery, and it's hard to say, right? Because you could start your day with some losing trades. I don't want to say, start your day with if you start your day with a loser, it can't turn into a winner. Dakota, you had, some great days recently. I did as well. I think I was down $700 the other day, yesterday actually, and turned it around to a $1,200 winning day. But it wasn't wild trading, right? I took a couple trades, they didn't work out, and then I saw another opportunity that played out really well. A lot of times to make a recovery on the day, we start doing things that are unsustainable, right? Going back to that point you had about passing a combine in 2 days, that type of trading is not sustainable. And a lot of times the trading that we do to make these recoveries is not sustainable. And when we do it, it kind of opens the door for just randomness. And a lot of times I've seen that end up in pretty big losses on the day. And it kind of looks like what happened here. So accept what a losing day is going to look like in your account, right? You know what that value is. And then go from there, right? This account is in the negative because of 2 pretty big losing days. And look, same thing here, right? Where you started off negative, you were able to make a recovery. You didn't want to accept a loss, so you had a loss. You got a little blip of green here. Lock out. That's it. You made $12. That's a winning day. Today I lost $20 and $25.20. That was a winning day because it could have ended up being a day like this. You have to know when to lock out, right? Because you start to lose control a little bit on days like this. And we see this a lot. And now look at when this big loss happens, right into the end of the day where you didn't just want to accept red for a P&L. And then you had to accept it either way.
Correct. Yeah. It's like you either accept it now or you're going to be forced to accept it later. And then
right.
I've done a lot of classes on psychology back when we were more focused on like doing this only on Discord. Now that before slow markets, if you believe that, where I'd hold a whole class on psychology. Maybe we could even do that one of these Wednesdays. But a big part of it was sometimes you don't even know you are trading emotionally until after, right? And yes, I've talked about like, hey, sometimes I would rewatch my slow markets class or fast markets, and just like record yourself, and you could start to pick up like, hey, you know what? Every time you're frustrated, you look like down into the left, or your body language, like, am I slouched in my chair, or am I like, sitting upright, or like the little tiny details that you will not notice till after the fact, or you might not ever notice. Very similar to like on a poker table. When you're playing poker, you're sitting across from someone, and you kind of like watch their body language, like how they're moving, are they comfortable, are they frustrated, are they relaxed, and it's the same with traders. I watch, and I'm gonna be honest, I would watch a YouTuber trade, and even if they are in a simulated account, if they still like have that amount of pressure on that trade, you could just kind of just like sit there and watch them, and then you could kind of watch them trade. And regardless of whether they're showing their trade executions or not, you can kind of just tell by their facial expressions and all of that. And then like they either like they get really quiet, or they get very like they start talking or talkative. Then they start replying to the chat, and these little tiny nuances with YouTube traders. And I've seen it in myself. I've seen it on traders on Topstep TV, and it's just a thing. They're humans, and you just don't know it until after the fact, or you might not even ever figure that out. I'd love to have a heart rate on all of us on Topstep TV and see how we do on like a reversal challenge when we have big size on.
Yeah, I mean, I wear my Apple Watch while I'm trading, and my heart rate, even now, it still increases, right? It's not like dramatic, but it still increases while I'm in a trade. And I don't think that's such a bad thing. I mean, if it's like double your resting heart rate, then you might be trading too much size, but it definitely increases. But exactly what you're saying, Dakota, those reads that you can make on other people, a great way to notice when you're doing it is to record yourself, right? We have the luxury of being on YouTube sometimes, so we can go back and watch ourselves trade. But before we did this, I used to record myself trading all the time, and it's just like, okay, what is my body language when I'm losing and when I'm winning? And internally, you know exactly what that feels like, right? So when you feel that feeling, that's probably a good time to cut yourself off if you know what the results are.
Right. So hear me out, Coach Jay. Hear me out on this. Here's an idea. 10 years from now, or heck, maybe even 5 years from now, we could get TopstepX to have a lockout feature based off of some biometric. Like, how cool would that be? Like, that you could put on a heart monitor, Bluetooth, connect it to TopstepX, and if your heart rate gets above some set number, it locks you out for like 20 minutes.
I think that's pretty cool. Honestly, if we talk to Coach Robert, we could probably get it done in like the next 5 months, and not 5 years. But I like that. I like that. That would because then you don't even know, right? Your body's telling you to stop trading instead of listening to your mind. That could be pretty cool.
Yeah. Okay. I'm. You guys hear it first. This YouTube is recorded. It's pending. No one's gonna knock that one off. Yeah, that would be really cool. Maybe I could bring that up to the team. That's an example, right? But maybe a heart rate monitor. Maybe there. I'm sure there's something. Mouse clicks. How many mouse clicks you have per minute? I don't know. I mean, you can imagine it's almost unlimited what we can do with TopstepX in terms of risk and improving for that. That would be pretty awesome. And real quick, I wanted to reply to, I think, Still Confident. I do get DMs, but I get so many DMs, I do not reply to them, and I really don't look at them. So forgive me if anybody has sent me a DM and I haven't replied. It's just I don't. Typically, the best way to get a reply from me is here in the YouTube chat, or if you like messaged on one of my tweets or X's, or whatever they're called. Are they called X's?
I think they're still called tweets.
No.
Posts. I think they're called posts, actually. So just to wrap up with this trader that's in this drawdown, this account is not, you still have a balance here. I think you have, I think it's a 100K account. So you still have $500 worth of drawdown here. This account is not blown, but what I would say is don't try to recover it. Just make good trades. Because similar to what we've seen here, where you're trying to make a recovery and we do things that are unsustainable, if you focus on trying to get this account out of the hole instead of focusing on taking good trades, you might see the same result that you're seeing on a daily, just kind of expanded for the entire account. So just take good trades. You know, take the thought out of your mind of, hey, I need to take a payout from this. It might be a little while before you take one, but the account is not dead and you can recover it. Just need to trade sustainably.
All right. All right, here we go. Let's take a look. I'm switching over to my chart. Nikkei, you see the bid and ask. The bid and ask is the bid's at 720. The last fill price is at 745. So you can see that difference between where the bid and ask and where the last fill price is. I'm still sitting in short 39,920, looking for this to break the previous low right here around 700. And you kind of see this is kind of where I'm looking at the DOM. Coach Jay, everything was technical, getting in, getting out of the trades, technical, but watching the DOM is kind of like it starts to start to watch it. And you can see we're starting to get down there. Last fill price is now at 725. Go ahead and I'm going to zoom in for a moment and then zoom right back out. Get ready to get this as a close. Let's see if we could see a market move. Let's see if we can get that sell off. 725 bid. Now the bid and ask is right there. And let's see if we could push. This is test number 1, test number 2, 3, and 4. This is test number 4. If we could break, I'm going to be looking to take profit as we start to break. And yeah, hopefully we could get this live. I know we are coming to the end of class. We have 5 minutes, but I'm okay with going a few minutes over depending on what this market's doing. But if we do, recover back up here towards the 750s, 760s, then we could go ahead and end the stream and leave everybody with a cliffhanger. And I trust me, I'll probably put the update on X, on Twix.
And just to clarify for the chat, I am still in this gold short. It's still profitable right now. Not really getting a ton of favorable price action, but not unfavorable either. I think if we do get a close above this VWAP on a 30-minute chart, I'll probably take the trade off. But still valid. Trade thesis is still there. Just need to let it work out. And this is where, again, slow markets trade. I'm not expecting this to do this quickly, and I'll manage it as it goes.
Yeah. Yep. Slow markets. Manage expectations. New York Bank. It's a New York session holiday. U.S. holiday. Or is it called a holiday, or is it just called the markets are closed in observance?
I think it's just a markets are closed day.
Okay. We're still here. We're still sitting at 725, and I mean, I like that we're holding 725. Last time we got down here, we bounced pretty quick. And so the longer we hold down here, the more I like it. What I don't like to see is what we've seen before, right? Where the market came down at 720, immediately bounced and rallied back up to 800s. I like to see us push and slowly. You can see the bids now at 720 again. The last fill price is at 725. And we could just sit here and watch this slow markets, like watching candlestick paint dry.
$725.
Yeah, watch 725. Coming into the end of class, that was the last stat I feel like it would be good for tonight.
Yep.
Every Wednesday, whenever I have you on here, Coach Jay, I'd love to continue to do more stats, and hopefully that brings more people in if they want us to review their statistics. Is a little bit of incentive for some of the traders.
For sure. It's always good to do.
Yeah. I used to do them really often, and every now and then is perfectly fine. ET1 says, you think you're peeling off one would cause a drop below the pivot? I don't believe in that. I know it's a joke whenever we're trading during fast markets where you're peeling one off for the rally, right? Sell one for the rally or buy one for the sell off.
It works.
So, sometimes it's work. I feel like to me that's the same as like Jerome or superstitions. Yeah, right. Market's going to do what it's going to do, regardless of what we think, what we feel, or any superstitions that we might have. But
making ourselves
that's just
feel
me,
better.
Right? Some people like that. It's a lot more, right? It is what it is. I mean, what I could do is I could sell 5 more. Now that might change some things. Or Coach Jay, I could just sell 10 at market because that would sell.
That'll move us a
That'll
little
trigger
bit.
your indicator.
Yes, it would. Yes,
And
it
that would
would.
move this market down to at least 715 right now. 715,
Yep.
because that would be the last 10 prices. So here we go. Bids at 720. Another thing I watch on the Nikkei is there's only 2 contracts, 5 contracts, 2 contracts. So I watch the number of contracts at each bid. Sometimes it will get really thin, like it's fluctuating, and this is very small, right? This is where I say I could come in here and I could take those 4 contracts immediately. I could sell 5 and bring this market to 715. And so those little tiny little details of when we're at key areas can make a little bit of a difference. Just like you were saying, Coach Jay, wow, that 10 contracts, it might not sound like much, but that would have tipped you off to this nice little rally. So
Yep.
Little tiny things on a market like this during the Asian session, there's not a lot of volatility. Maybe we're pinching ticks, pinching pennies. All right, that was don't laugh at that one, Coach Jay. It sounded better in my head.
Yeah.
Here we go.
I see where you were going with it.
Here we go. 710. Here we go to 710. Cut that one out. Internet's forever.
Here we go. Well, let's just let this trade work out so we could just forget whatever you just said there.
Here we go. 7.
I think you just got a team name.
Oh, come on. Don't distract me right now. We're trading. We're trading the live market. Oh, man. Oh, the internet is a wonderful, wonderful thing. Okay, bids at 700. Bids at 700. Patience. This could be a good example of patience right here.
Bid at 700. Let's see.
Yeah, I want to see this. Ask is 710. Ask is the fill price so far. Let's see if we can get a breakdown. Right at the top of the hour, we're at right at 9 p.m. I don't mind going a few minutes over. Sometimes the top of the hour will bring a little bit of volatility into the markets, especially at this time of night. Let's see. Let's see if we could break this. I'm going to go ahead and looking at joining bid if we could break. I was going to show what it looks like at buying one at market, but I want this market to sell off. I don't want to be a buyer, because if I buy market now, then it'll push it to 715. Let's see.
Yep.
Right now would be okay for. See, this is a good example. I'll be okay buying market now because the last fill price is 710.
You're buying 710.
There's 3 contracts there. It's not going to change anything visually. It's not going to really change much. There's 2 contracts. I could buy one and be okay. So there's little things like that. Now there's 5. There's 5 sitting there at 710 or 8. There's 8. So I'm watching this. There we go. Now it looks like there's an ask at 705. And if this breaks, here we go. 705 got filled. We're going to watch this slowly. And when it breaks, it just kind of like really quick. It's just fast. You see the market start to pick up. I'm going to go ahead and get out of 1 if we could get 705 filled one more time. Okay. Get out of 1 right there. I don't mind that.
Joining the bid at 705?
Yeah, I joined the bid at 705 for a second. To be honest, if that gets filled, I think we are going lower. Changed my mind.
Yeah,
I
agree
changing. Called an audible on that one, because if that 705 gets filled, I think there'd be a case for us just going lower. To be honest, if I'm going to close it here, it'd be at market, but I don't want a lot of buy market orders coming in at this level. So I could buy market 4, but that would change things. Yeah, thank you for staying a little after, Coach Jay, if you don't mind that.
Oh yeah, no problem. I'm thinking about whether or not I want to add to this gold trade. I said I was okay risking 300. Right now I'm risking 2, and we're kind of hanging out at this VWAP again.
Nice. 705's getting filled. 700's at the offer. There's only 2 at the bid. There's only 2 at 700. Let's see if we can get that. So 705s are clean. 705s are clean for me to fill if I wanted a 705. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and I'm very indecisive right now, and that is usually an indicator that I'm going to just fill one at 705. So I put my one order in there. You can see it's at 705. There's two of them now.
Yep.
So there's one contract at 705. Okay, that one just got filled. So I like that. So they are willing to accept 705.
Nice.
So 2 contracts out, 3 more left. Realized is 1,780. Unrealized 3,225. And yeah, there we go. We're still hovering around there. Market's starting to pick up just a tiny bit. This is, as everyone can probably see, this is night and day compared to the New York session, right? This is
it is
completely different trading. In a way, right? In terms of like the way the market's acting. So I like that there's a low number at the bid, and see the bigger numbers coming in at 715, 710. There's 10, 6, and now there's only 3 right there at 700. And these will continue to change, and I'll just continue to watch this. This is so slow. This is, I enjoy this. This is fun to me.
It's in the name. It's in the name.
It's in the name. It's in the name. Far too slow.
And you're,
go ahead.
You're like an active market participant right now, right? Where you and a couple
2
of other people are trading.
Me and some other guy
right
in like his mom's basement in California or something, or in
you think
Japan.
He's running a stream too?
The Japanese market. Maybe it's me and a few guys in Japan. Guys or girls.
Right.
Oh man, yeah, 705 got filled, so I'm kind of surprised 700s didn't. Yeah, that's good. That's a good one. We'll stay for a few more minutes. As long as we're sitting here at 700, if we do start to bounce up into these 30s, then I'll just go ahead and we could end the stream there. But let's see. I want to see how we react, because if we do break, it's here we go. There we go. See, 69, 69.5. Let's see if we could get another push. So we new low. We broke through 700. Bids at 69 evens. And this is just as slow as we got down here. This is just as slow of a break. So I'm going to go ahead and fill another one at 700. See if it'll give me 700. I don't like when I want this market, when I see this market break, I want it to just break through this, right? I don't want to see us hesitate, and we're just chilling here at 700s. So let's see if I could fill another one at 700. Pretty sure I could get that one. But this market is now just way too slow for me than it was earlier. You can see earlier when I shorted it, how much the market was moving. And that was kind of the Asian session open, right? Where the market was moving a whole lot more. We sat here, we held the class, and the market's just really started to slow down quite a bit. But I am getting a good price, a really good price. I got 700, and now the bid's starting to catch up. So a few more minutes.
Is there ever a point, Dakota, here where you're down to a runner under your position, you trail it to a certain spot, and you just let it go?
Actually, yes, you are 100% correct. I was actually thinking about just moving my stop loss. I just did. So I just moved my stop loss to pretty much break even. I mean, it's not really break even. It's break even for what I currently have on. Here we go. I got filled. I got filled right there at 700. Bids now at 69 even. Let's see if we could have some follow through. I want to see this market move. A lot of times,
1%.
Go ahead.
1% down in the Nikkei puts us at 39,620. We're 0.8% down right now. Just some information. Okay. And someone asked, is this gold trade still valid? I did add a little bit more to it. I'm risking that 300 that I was willing to risk now. But if this 30-minute candle closes, and we got some time on it, we got 20 minutes. If this candle closes above VWAP and I don't get stopped out, I'm taking this trade off.
Right. Makes sense. And yeah, it's so nice now that I have this little tab to look at. I can hover over it and it says Nikkei, the price, and down 0.82.
Nice.
So whenever you mention that now, I'm probably gonna make that a habit of mine, looking up there to see where we're at. It's nice. It's calculated off of the open at what, 5 p.m.
I
Central?
think it's going from settlement, from the settlement price from the daytime session.
Interesting. Okay. So I don't like that. It looks like we ticked lower one more time and we failed to have that continuation. I'm going to get out of one more. You can see my single order right there at 700. Look at that one. Like 700. One. There we go. There we go. I got that one got filled. Here we go. Let's see if we can have any follow through my little single contracts out here. And you know what? I'm going to move this market just to close out. So here you go. You see the ask 705. When I purchase at market, you will see this market move to 705. Here we go. Just because I said, for the sake of this example, there's one contract there. There's a few more contracts there. I want to get it to where you could see it. So here we go. In 3, 2, 1. There we go. Market moved to 705. Little things like that. So
yep, there you go. That 705 offer is gone.
Yeah, 705 offer's gone. I took him. They're happy.
Yeah.
So $5,000 in the session in the Nikkei. Just a quick summarize so everybody can see and talk about it. Thanks for staying. I know it was slow. It was fun. It's always fun. But yeah, that was well-timed trade, I guess. Good entry right before the stream. You could see where we had that nice pullback. Got into those 5 contracts. We sold off. Closed one off there. Lot of patience, lot of waiting, very boring. And then we started to push back down towards 700, closed the other 4 contracts off there. And yeah, it was a nice, fun, good session, great class. I appreciate it, Coach Jay. Any last words on your end?
Enjoy some time off of the markets tomorrow. Markets are closed. If you got to do any trade review or anything like that, take care of that. But enjoy some time off. After this gold trade, I'm probably not going to look at the markets until Friday. Dakota, I'll see you for fast markets. We got NFP on Friday, so it should be a fun trading day.
Sounds good. Thank you. Take care, everybody. See ya.